You were there instead of the prison. You went first to Walpole, is that right?
Well, I was in Walpole and I was in Concord.
Okay.
And I wasn't really too impressed with either. I mean, in Walpole, I had some problems.
Like what?
Well, I had one guy come up behind me and stick a cigarette in my neck and crush it out.
Ouch.
He ended up paying, but...
Sounds cruel.
Yep. Yeah, I came back with an elbow and knocked him off the tier. And he fell 3 stories.
And died.
They said he did. I don't know whether he did or didn't. I mean, whether they were just trying to scare me or anything else, I don't know.
Wow. That's pretty scary.
Yep.
So, and that was at Walpole or Concord?
That was at Walpole.
And that's where you moved and from there to Bridgewater? At your request?
Then I went to Concord.
Oh, okay.
I was in Concord there for probably maybe 9 months.
Okay.
And then they sent me to Bridgewater for an evaluation.
Okay.
And it was easy time there.
Yeah.
I mean, you had an upper rec room and a lower rec room, and lots of pool tables.
Mm-hmm.
You had a grass yard and a cement yard.
Mm-hmm.
You had avocations.
Yeah.
They had a lot more services. Visiting was great too, because your family could bring in McDonald's or whatever restaurants happened to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice. A lot of the people weren't the greatest. I mean, we had demonologists, and we had guys that did unspeakable things.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk to them?
Some of them, yeah. Others, I just didn't bother with.
Yeah. So an interesting cross section. When you abducted Richard O'Connor, you were 18. Was that right after? Or was that after high school? I can't remember now.
I was 17.
17.
Or 16 and a half, somewhere around there. I was a minor.
Okay. And what led up to that?
Basically, he reminded me of a garage mechanic that I was having problems with.
Mm-hmm.
Who wanted to be my dad, or at least pretended to be my dad.
Uh-huh.
And he sold me a defective car.
Hmm.
In fact, he ended up cementing the muffler so that the fumes would go into the car. Eventually, the governor's task force put him out of business, but I mean, luckily, one of my father's friends, who was a mechanic, checked the car out. He found that stuff.
Hmm. So he was repairing mufflers so that...
Well, I had problems with this car that I had bought.
Okay.
I would take it back to him all this time because of the warranty or whatever they call it. And we ended up sabotaging the car.
Hmm. So, I guess I don't understand how a little bitty boy could remind you of him.
Well, this guy was small and they looked alike.
Uh-huh.
At the time, I was just so angry and everything else, and I didn't really look at the kid as a boy.
I see. Now, at that point in time, you pretended you were a cop, though.
Yeah.
And why did you do that?
I don't know, it just happened. Nothing was planned.
Okay.
I mean, all my victims tell me that, everything was planned, but there was nothing. It was just spare of the moment.
I see. I talked to Richard O'Connor, and he's doing pretty well.
Well, that's good.
He is, yeah. Did you happen to see in the paper about Alan Enriquitas? He was just arrested last
That's
week.
too bad.
Yeah, he's been in trouble for years, but he was just arrested for kidnapping and assault on a woman. but I don't know the details. It
Yeah.
just it was in the newspaper. But I don't know about Billy Benoit. I haven't.
I don't know, and I don't have an address on him either.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of disappeared. The police haven't talked to him either. I don't know where he is.
Well, according to Al,
Henry Titus?
yeah, in some of the reports that I've read, he says he knows where he is. I wrote a letter to Richard O'Connor, his parents, and to Al, and I apologized to him.
Mm-hmm.
I also explained what happened to me when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got answers from him.
Didn't you?
Except from Richard's mom, which wasn't the greatest letter to get back. I mean, she never signed it, but I knew it was from her.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the postmark,
Okay.
Webster, Mass. There's only a few people that could have done that, and the things she said in it were stuff that I had said in my letter.
Okay.
And I'm sure if medieval torture was still alive, she'd be at the head.
Yeah. She'd want your head, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, as far as the your rape, okay, you were 11 years old.
I was 10.
10 years old, and the boys that you list on that, I noticed that two of the names are Alan and Kevin, and then Kevin was your friend also that was injured, right?
Yeah.
But now the Alan and Kevin, are those the DuPonts or not?
Yes.
They are. Okay. Because now they would be, if you were 11, they would be very young. If you were 10, you said 10.
Yeah.
They'd be like 2 and 3 years old.
No, they would.
Aren't they like 8 years difference between you?
No. As far as I know, they were only a couple years younger than me.
Okay. I'll have to check on that. Now, where did this thing take place? Where were you?
The cemetery.
Okay.
Or right near the cemetery.
Uh-huh. And there were how many boys?
There were 8.
8 boys. And you and Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did they do to you?
Well, me and Kevin were tossing the ball. And basically, me and Kevin hung together all the time. I mean, he was a few years younger than me.
Uh-huh.
And basically, the kids we played together.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all of various ages. It would have been nice if they were all 10-year-olds, but you don't choose your neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is these 8 kids show up, and they grab us and they strip us of our clothes.
Mm.
They ended up taking Kevin and tying him to a tree. Hands to one tree and then feet to the other.
Mm.
So he was stretched out. And, they had 6 kids hold me down while the 2 older ones did Kevin. And basically they forced Kevin to have oral sex with him. And then they took a jar out of a paper bag, something like a mayonnaise jar or something, about that size.
Uh-huh.
And they poured it on him, and it smelled like gasoline to me. Basically what they did is they lit matches and tossed them on Kevin. And that got me a little pissed. Somehow I got away from those 6 kids. I started beating the snot out of Ronnie, since he was the leader. I didn't like him anyhow.
Yes, Master.
And it took 7 kids to get me off of Ronnie. I hurt Ronnie real good. I was very happy to do it and everything else. And they ended up dragging me down to the ground, and they proceeded to start kicking me. I mean, they kicked me everywhere. You know, Ronnie decided that he wanted a little extra excitement or whatever, but he kicked me in the groin several times. And they ended up taking a stick and sticking it in my butt. And it didn't penetrate, but just the sensation alone was enough. And they did a number on me. And Ronnie told me that if I ever told anybody, that he would kill me. And to make sure that I got the point, he squeezed my genitals hard enough to where I ended up passing out. And this is just a slight covering of the story.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, I mean, Kevin was still tied there. And
So was he like spread eagle, or was he like hands on one tree and feet on the other?
hands on one tree and feet on the other. And when I came to, you know, I thought I must have died or something. It took me a while to get up. And finally I somehow got to my feet. I don't know, I was in a lot of pain. I was holding my jewels. And I finally got over to Kevin and got him released. And then Kevin got dressed, and then Kevin helped me get dressed. There was no way I could.
Wow. But you never told your mom, huh?
No.
Because you were afraid?
Yeah, I was afraid until about age 32 that Ronnie was going to get me.